Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. Lots going on. We're going to get into a lot of stuff today. Any comments, emails? The chat room should be open. I'll open it, make sure it's open. Sorry about that. All right. The site has a link there. If you want to come on, please do. We got room for about 8 other people. If you want to squeeze in and pop on. All right. Let me see. Let my co-host introduce herself.
Hi guys, hello everybody. I'm Tina Barrett, ET Gal here in UK, and I do apologise for the last 2 weeks I haven't been on the show with Tommy. I've been quite ill. That's why you can see myself. I've had cold sores and nose problems, and but yeah, I'm back this week, and I do apologise for my absence. And it's great for Tommy to have me on the show on Encounters this week. So hello from me, Tommy.
Well, I want to just tell you real fast. People that I know have problems with their nose bleeding after they get their shot. All right. And it's a serious problem. My partner had to go to the hospital and they had to do something, operate on her sinus and everything else to stop the bleeding. But there's symptoms of this. I don't want to get into the vaccine. That's a whole separate issue. That's a bad issue, but I don't want to do that today. I'm going to try to keep it pretty well close to the UFO world, which is where I want to try to keep it today. And every aspect of that, what's happening, what's going to happen. I'm going to repeat this right now. I repeated every show since Mr. Mush, I call him Musk, because he's coming out and saying aliens are not here. About the third richest person on the planet is telling the world that aliens aren't here. I mean,
Robert Bigelow would disagree with him.
Well, Bigelow would disagree completely, but Gates didn't say anything. He's not in a place to talk about UFOs. But Mr. Musk is putting all these satellites up in space and everything else. But for him to say that to the world, I think it's really ridiculous. But he has no clue. That means he has no awareness, or he just won't admit any of it. So he's in between that space. Either he knows everything or he knows absolutely nothing. I mean, if he knows absolutely nothing, he's totally useless. But I want to get into speakers, conferences, and all those things today because so much is going to be happening this month and next month. I know I'm going to say some things that Tina doesn't agree with, but that's the way we go. We don't agree on everything. She's friends with a lot of people. I try to stay enemies with everybody until they're real and telling the truth. Then I'll be their friend. But as long as they're pushing stories, peddling false information, they're not my friend. I'm going to say a bunch of names. You can follow them, like them, whatever you want, but I'm going to give you the truth. I just had to write a letter about a certain person, which I'll get into, but I can't say the real truth because he'll sue me. Not because it's a lie, just because he doesn't want that information out there. So we're going to be in a kind of situation where I'm going to say as much as I can, and I got somebody really important to talk about today. But is there an issue you want to get into first, Tina, before I get into anything?
Actually, there's a couple of things that have been on my mind. Because I've been ill, I've been unable to go out, and I have been housebound. And so all I've managed to do, I've only been going in the garden the last 2 days because I have been ill, is continuing on. It's got to be a good 5 or 6 weeks now, maybe even longer. Probably since the end of January, it might even be longer than that. But this year's been the year for meteorite strikes, and often you see the meteor showers and the annual ones we have, which we expect, and we know about that. But recently, every week or so, maybe every week, there's been a report, more so now, of meteorites hitting, striking the ground, or disappearing and dissolving into air before they hit the ground. But there's a report of one. I just took a quick screenshot quickly. And my emphasis is that these things are becoming more and more frequent. Not normally we have a cyclical, like meteor showers and things like that, and you see them in the sky. But this says this is from inews.co.uk. And it says fireball meteor fragments fell in a New Forest, and they're looking for a space rock. Now, this one was reported over Devon, Dorset, and places like that, and it hit It was reported on the 20th of March. It was spotted at 14:53. So that was quite close to where I live. And before that, there's been quite a few spotted in England, Hampshire, and in the northern hemisphere of the Earth. And the week before last, one was spotted. It hit off the coast of Jersey. Now, not New Jersey in the States, it's Jersey and the Channel Islands in the UK. It was spotted going towards France. Just before, between France and England, there's a group of islands called the Channel Islands. And this thing struck just off the coast of Jersey on the Channel Islands, and the debris from that hit Nursling and Romsey, which is a few miles from where I live. So it hit off the coast of France, and the debris from that came back across the channel and hit us here in the UK in Romsey and Nursling, which is not far from where I live. Now, when these things first started, I said they're becoming more frequent and more, and they're striking more in the northern hemisphere, which I think some meteorologists or space watch guys need to kind of explain. Is it something they've had an explosion deeper in space? Because Jupiter protects us because of the size of the planet from things being thrown at us. Now, if there's been an explosion near that type of space, are these things that have been thrown out past Jupiter and now hitting us? Because if so, it would hit us from north and southern hemisphere. I'm just guessing at that. But these things have been, thank you very much, things have been more in the northern hemisphere. And today there was a report, sorry I didn't get to read it all because other things were going on, as a report of a meteor, quite a large meteor hit off the Gold Coast. Now, it didn't say if it was a Gold Coast or in America, Australia, France, I don't know. So that's something I'll have to look up. The other thing is, this past week where I've been ill and literally been managing to get to my garden, literally, and that's been to let my dog in and out to go to the toilet. Now, my partner said about a week or so ago, he was in the garden and one of our dogs is ill, so we have to feed it for 3 hours, even throughout the night. So he got up in the middle of the night and said, there's this thing outside the house, just across the way, or just above the houses, and it was flashing and shot out a red dot, and it was changing shape in colours, and it was there for a couple of minutes, and it kind of went. Now, right, he didn't get a chance to take a picture, and I thought, wow, okay, he's not an alarmist or anything like that. So I thought, right, took it seriously. Didn't see nothing for a couple of nights. Well, about 3 nights ago, I let my dog out at 11:30 at night, and I took a picture. I went outside to let my dog out, and there's this thing exactly as he described in the sky. This thing was one dot, it looked like a star that got brighter. Then it shot down, split into two. As it split into two, it changed colours and flitted like a dot to dot, flitted along, and shot out this red thing. And I thought, this is what my partner said he saw. Now, it's in the same kind of regional space at the back of my house where he saw this object. I'm just trying to find the pictures on my phone quickly. So this is a type of thing. So this is the object which I zoomed in on, and it was shooting and flying about. This is the actual scene. So there's the street light, and you can see the dot of the street light above, but you can see 3 dots next to it in the sky. Now the larger dot, so whether, I'm not sure if that's a star, those 3, that's triangle thing, I don't know, or if it's something that come from that triangle thing, as you can clearly see. So there's the houses in the background, there's the street light, and above the houses in the background, there's this light that came forward. You've got 3 dots in the background that look like some kind of triangle. Now, this is exactly, sorry, I'll try and go dim. This is exactly what my partner said he saw as well. So we're focusing on this dot in the middle. So there's the dot zoomed in. It looks like a black pyramid or triangle. There it is again. Look, you can actually see it's like a Y-shaped object. Now, it then started spinning and turning. And I tried to get a better view because it was going up and down. It was getting closer. And it jumped. It was jumping about. And there's another shot. But this is when it transformed into this above, you can so clearly see it's the same object above the house. There's the house lines there, and you can clearly see it in the sky. And that's it zoomed up a bit closer. You can definitely see it had shapes and dimension to it. There's the video I actually took. Now you can see I didn't realise till now that giant triangle thing actually above it. So I didn't really because I was focusing on the light and the dot. Wow, that was about. I'll tell you what that was. There's the date and time. That was on the 17th of April at 04:43 in the morning. Okay, now is location and time. Now, the next night, what time is this? This is the 17th of April at 23:11 hours. Okay, at 11:23 at night. And it's the same object. It came back. So this one, there it is there. Right. There it is there, zoomed in. It was like revolving. Now, there's not a weather balloon. Weather balloons don't go up and down in the middle of the night. It doesn't have wings on it. You can clearly see it does not have wings on it. Now, aeroplanes don't go vertically up and straight down and then split into 3 different coloured lights. So there it is again. Actually, there in the reflection, you can see actually it's got a giant triangle above it. There it's revolving again. A different angle there. So it came back a second night. So there was 2. Sorry, I'm sweating here. Now, on the 18th of April at 01:33 in the morning, I went to let my dog out. And, there it is there. So there's the date and time and where everything that was taken. Now, there is the actual picture with the dots on it. And it's the same triangle above. I didn't see the triangle. Now, look. This is the dots above the house. This is directly behind my house. That darker shadow underneath is the house across the street from me, literally. Now, this craft had 4 lights on it, and I didn't see them like the other one. And there's a red dot. There's a red and blue dot that came off. Now I'll try and enlarge that so you can clearly see the dots. I don't know what that. Oh, it's dog hair on there. I thought it was something on the picture. There you go. So you can clearly see the dots. Now this thing reappeared with a larger friend 3 nights. So 3 nights in a row, this thing has appeared. It's been in the same, started off the same. Yeah, started off the same. I'm trying to get a picture of the red light. Can't really see. But if you go onto my Facebook, I did have pictures of my Facebook. So there it is there. So that is not an aeroplane. That's not a helicopter. It's 5 or 6 lights flashing different colours that came down with this triangle. And then, so another person in the same area said they saw it. My partner saw it, and I think somebody else saw it because they posted a thing. Someone in Portsmouth tried to look, and they said that they couldn't see it. But that's just the next county over it, if you want, from where I am. Now, that was one of them. So this is just in my back garden. This is a bit higher. That actually looks like some kind of stone meteor or something in the sky. That flashing about above the house. But there you go. So there's been lots of activity here, and people are like the military need to come down and have it and address this, because if this thing's been back 3 nights when I spotted it, twice my partner spotted it, that's at least 5 nights in a month. and it's been low to the ground directly behind those curtains at the back. It's been there. It's been up in the sky, and it shoots about. So I suggested, I put a post up on Facebook, which I've taken down since, saying that the Royal Air Force should come and investigate. And I have been nothing but by the CE5 people, the sky watchers, everyone should watch the skies. I said, and I was attacked. I feel attacked by them because this guy was saying that, why do you need the Air Force? You're such a negative person, and they've done that, and Eric von Daniken would agree with me. Well, actually, no, Eric von Daniken wouldn't agree with you because I've spoken to Eric von Daniken. I met him at one of these get-together things, and you don't get time to chat a lot with him. Watch his presentation, you have a couple of minutes afterwards and that. And I spoke to him about things like this. So no. And again, Linda Moulton Howe, I had a quick half an hour interview. She interviewed me for half an hour at Birmingham a few years ago. And so I don't think she'd agree either. These things need to be brought to the front. It's not about shooting these craft down. If they're coming, they're coming into our airspace unannounced. It's dangerous. I don't live far from an airport, and in Southampton Eastleigh Airport. Now, nothing's flying from there. I checked the times. There's nothing flying in the air. I've got a Fawley power station not far down the road, and there's a military installation the other way. Then you've got the Netley fuel depot for Esso down the road. So I live within this big triangle of all these huge installations. So I do worry when things encroach in our airspace where I live locally. And I don't want to be dying an explosion because some UFOs hit something at Eastleigh Airport and then crashes into one of these installations, because I'm not going to be here anymore. So, which is a bit concerning, but they need to be reported and officially looked at so they can be studied and observed. So for all those people that were like really hating on me, saying, oh no, it's this and this, and why are you telling us up the country? Well, it's something that should be told everywhere. So people up the country, in Yorkshire or in Birmingham or anywhere else in the country, or further up if you like, could go outside and have a look, because this thing is down here, or it is off the coast of England, and surely it is a possibility of it crossing the country and going to somewhere where you live. So, it's not just about, well, why are you posting on my Facebook group when you're at the other end of the country? Because you post so people can be aware and be on the lookout and know what you've seen. That's the whole point of UFO groups, and that's the whole point of sky watching, is to see what you can see and take pictures and identify things or not identify things, and let other people know so they can do research and look at it. The whole purpose is to share things, not hate people that are very narrow-minded and don't understand the subject. So, Tommy, over to you. But at the moment, there's been lots of reports of UFOs and unidentified flying objects here in the UK, and especially meteors. So whatever's happening to the world is definitely going up a notch. So that's where I stand from here. So I have taken down my posts on Facebook, and if people who say that they're scientifically interested aren't, or don't want to investigate, I have had the on one person, please, saying like, email me times and days and things like that. So when I get a bit of time, I will do that. But I'm not going to post anymore. There's absolutely no point being you're attacked for things you see in the sky because people don't want to believe, or if they do, they're some group or cult, whatever you'd like to say, that if you say a negative word or don't agree with them 100%, then you're not in that group, or you can't be friends with them because you want to be hostile to ETs. And I thought, well, if they knew my abduction case, I'd have every right to be, but we won't go there. Tommy.
All right, thank you for all that. A lot of information right there. A lot of stuff going around, Tina, as well as I am. I'm in Hawaii. I'm on the Big Island. I went out this morning. I saw two ships, two different kinds of ships. And I also saw a meteorite come really close. A bright green. It left a big, long trail across the sky, and it came down really, really close to the ground. And I made a deck, so I'm equal to my roof, so I could see over my whole roof and a whole big circle above me. But it came down and it went into the trees in the distance. So I don't know how close it came to the ground, but it came down really close, and it was really big. So, I mean, it made it through the ozone and everything else when it came through. But on top of that, I saw a little ship cruising across the sky. It moved so slow. I never saw a ship go so slow. I filmed it for about maybe a couple minutes, just cruising along there. And then I put the camera down and I looked the other way, and there's this white ship moved about 2 inches and then just disappeared, but super bright. And then I said, oh man, I just missed that. And then the light ship I always see blinked at me. So I saw a lot of cool things within it. I was out there at 4:30, from between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. So the problem is, I keep telling people, look at the sky. If you never saw a UFO, go out in the morning, early morning. You're going to see something. There's just so many things going around. So I have a book. It's a PDF file. If you're interested in seeing a UFO, I'll send it to you for free. It's about 200 pages. I was going to release it as a book, but I said, well, if anybody really wants to see a UFO, I want to make it easier for them to have it. Just text me, Hawksblood1AOL.com, and I will give you the PDF file. And I don't care if you send it to other people either. I just want it out there because people have to realize how simple it is to see a UFO. They go, oh, I never saw a UFO. I never saw one. I want to see one. Well, it's real easy. It takes a matter of a little bit of your time during the night, but I promise you, if you put some hours in there, you're going to see something. But I want to talk about, I want to go into 3 different subjects, but the first thing I want to talk about, a friend of mine just was released out of jail rather recently. He was put in jail with false charges. He wrote, I would say probably one of the, I only say there's 2 top UFO books. It's one of the top 2 UFO books out there. When he released that book, the government started harassing him every which way. They brought all these false charges against him and then put him in jail. All right. He just got out. He's a very important person. He was one of the top speakers for many years. From 1995, he was considered one of the top psychics. He was teaching remote viewing classes. He did a lot of stuff. He was trying to make a movie and everything else. But the most important thing that I want people to know, his name is Sean David Morton.
I've heard of that. I've heard of him.
He's famous. He was, but he was in jail for a couple of years now. The problem was he discovered where Area 51 was. He took people out there in a van to film the ships coming in every couple of weeks. He invited Rivaldo from TV to come out there to see it. And he goes, I'm going to come out. I don't believe you, but I'll come out. He said, you got to come out in December. He canceled. He came out in January. And then he came back and went on TV publicly. He said, there's nothing going on there. I'm friends with the 4-star general. There's nothing there but a small little base. In other words, he was told not to say a word. But he didn't come out to meet Sean, which he was supposed to do. And Sean would have taken him there when the ships come in. They come in at a certain time, like every other week. So he was taking vans there constantly until they found out he was doing that. They bought all that land, and all the land around Area 51 now is closed off, and you can't even get close to it because where that mountain was overlooked it, and now they bought that whole mountain. So that's all closed off. But what I want to say about Sean, I'm going to bring him on a show soon. He has cancer. He's critical right now. He's trying to survive, trying to get healthy. If I bring him on, I'll let him tell the stories of what they did to him. They were trying to kill him. They blinded him. They took his retina out of his one eye. They did lots of things to him in jail. Really a sad, pathetic case of what government did to him. But he was a sovereign citizen, teaching people how to become sovereign citizens, which the government also didn't like. So there's a lot of things going on. One of my good friends, Sergeant 18, he turned against me because I mentioned Sergeant 18. And he blames him for a lot of things. Everybody's blaming Sargel. I mean, Sargel's blaming him, and all these other people are. A lot of people lost money, but he didn't pocket it. He didn't make it. I'm not going to go into that in detail. When I bring him on, we'll see how far he wants to go with that part of it. But he is one of the top psychics out there as well. And he's just getting back to talking. He couldn't talk when he got out of jail. They had to remove the giant cancer on the side of his throat and everything else. He's got cancer from his throat down into his lungs. What's going on is crazy, but he is a very important person in the UFO world. Everybody knows him. Carrie Cassidy did promote him while he was in jail, trying to get funds and help him get money, because in jail he had to raise money to get the court order to file against the state and everything, which he's doing, and he finally got out. Not that he's in a healthy condition. So I just wanted to bring that up because he will be on mainstream. I'm going to try to bring him on my show. I'm going to try to help him set up his own show because he needs one more than anybody else. And this is the last thing I'll say about him. He's one of the smartest people I know. He's a genius. I mean, he can go on a subject in detail. Any subject, he could go on and talk about it in detail. How the money got started, what systems, who, what, where, and everything else. The whole UFO program, his book is called Sands of Time. It became a 3-part book, which is probably the most important book you'll ever read because it's the truth about what the government was doing for the past 50 years. And you hear all these other UFO people, oh, they're going to show us the truth. They're going to show us the truth in 2 months. Well, in June, around June 1st, they're supposed to release information. Let's see how much they release. Sure, a Tic Tac is a Tic Tac, and it sounds just like the candy. And that's about all it is when you look at it on a video. Sargel and we had pictures of real ships filmed from 1996 to 2002. I filmed a little ship. Here's my fingers. About maybe that big. No lie.
You're right, Tommy. People underestimate the size of these things. These things are being filmed by huge aircraft in the sky and people on the ground. You don't realize the size of these things that are coming into our airspace. They're absolutely huge, and people don't seem to realize that. It's hard to judge the magnification on one of these things when you just see a little dot. If you can see that dot hundreds of miles or thousands of miles up in the sky, how big do you actually think that thing is when it comes towards you? People don't seem to realize how big these things are.
Well, on that, okay, just so you know, people, and this you need to understand, and if you read my book, you'll understand it. Satellites, there was only a few big satellites put in space. I'm talking about the size of a trailer, and that's small compared to space. Most of them now, and this is no lie, are the size of a milk box or a lunchbox. It's that small. And they put 20, 30, as many as they want in a ship when they send it up there. So to see something that small in space, you are not going to see it. And put the distance between it and, the reflection of the sun. And then again, it's lit up. No satellites, most satellites have no lights on them. Because don't forget, they got a little battery in there charging it and keeping it in power. And they're not going to put a light on there because the ship's not looking around trying to see anything. So all the concept that people have about a satellite is ridiculous. So what I'm saying is, if you see something moving across the sky and it's in the middle of the night, the sun's on the other side of the planet. It's not a reflection. So there's a lot of things you need to think about when and where you see it, what time, and all those kind of things. But if you're watching a ship, and I'll tell you this happens quite often, I use lasers on them. One of the ships I hit with a laser turned the color of my laser. It was a white ship moving across the sky, right? And I hit it with the laser, and it turned green. I had a green laser on it. When I took the laser up, it turned back to white. And then it was moving further, and I hit it with the laser again, and it turned green again. I can't imagine. My laser goes 50 miles. I can't imagine how close that ship really was, except that the light actually hit it. So by that standard, I would say it would have to be close. But for a ship to change color, what does that mean? I have no clue. I mean,
that thing out there, pink 3 times, the colours flashed 3 times, went from 1 dot, split into 3 like a dot to dot really quickly, and then a red one shot out the side, and then it went back into 1. So they do flash different colours and they do separate. We can't do things like that.
Everything, but getting back to the satellites, a lot of ships you'll see, the second you try to take a picture of it, will disappear. Satellites can't do that, just so you know.
The
A
satellites
satellite,
aren't inside the Earth's atmosphere above your neighbour's house.
and they just keep going across the sky. They don't do anything different. They don't
Yeah.
move. They don't stop. They don't start blinking and do other things. No, they're a solid thing. So there's a lot of things you could look at. I mean, sure, if you're real lucky, in a month, a couple months time, you might get to see a satellite. If you're real lucky, you're going to have 50 million more chances to see a UFO than a satellite. Because, like Tina said, they're gigantic. I mean, there's some small ships. I told you, I shot a ship that was right in front of me, which was teeny. But see, their technology, I don't know if you believe it or not, or science can't prove it, they can shrink or get bigger. I mean, if
I
you're going
think
to
they are there as well. People seem to have this thing that it's just nighttime and people are out drawing it, but they are there in the daytime. I've seen a few things that could be explained, but from what I understand of their technology, they hide in either the frequency of light from daylight, but they're there in the day. Some of them are there in the day.
No, it's not like they disappear all day. They're around the planet.
Yeah.
Probably tons and tons of them. I could say thousands and thousands of them around the planet every minute of the day. All right. The difference is they change speed, and I think they change speed because they don't want to be seen during the day. They're doing top speed. We used to film 3 to 10 ships in a half hour every day. We had a camera that shot 300 frames a second. We left it on for a half hour and then looked at it in slow motion. And you'll see these ships come by. Strange Universe, there's a video up online showing a ship stopping, shooting out 3 orbs, and then shooting out. We put that on Strange Universe. The week after that, Strange Universe was taken off the air. All right. But we filmed that stuff. We put it out there mainstream, but nobody cared. The push is on, right now, the push is on good aliens. They're going to come here and help us. People are so desperate. They're putting all their focus and attention on the good aliens. Now, I'll let Tina debate this or however she wants to talk about it.
No, they're not. They're not. I was under attack this last week from CE5. There's a guy, or he's in one of these groups, and it was like, oh, you're negative, and it's why would you want the military to investigate peaceful beings that aren't hurting anyone? Well, if they're not hurting no one, they shouldn't be coming here covertly. They shouldn't come near at night times. You don't know who they're taking, what they're taking, your life they're putting in danger. You don't know that. How do you know? How do you perceive that? And I said to them, like, have you been abducted? And because do you know what it's like to be like stuck to one of these tables with like them taking things from the inside of you? No, you don't. You don't know the fear of God. You're going to die. And no. So don't stand there and tell me I'm a negative person unless you've been in my shoes.
Any UFO person out there that gets to listen to this, if they got the balls to hang around and listen to the rest of the show, and listen to what I'm going to say. All right, in the UFO world, they talk more about experiences, which we mentioned a while ago. An experiencer is somebody that claims to have a UFO experience and they're in their bedroom. All right, and that's it. And they come out with this incredible, great story. Now, an abduction means you're taken without your permission. And I don't think I know one person that said they heard somebody ring the doorbell and there was an alien standing at the door and said, hey, excuse me, you want to take a trip on our ship? We want to play with your body. I don't think that happens too often. Now, I'll tell you what does happen. When a person gets pulled on a ship, except Tina and a few other people, remember everything, not everything, but a lot of things that actually happened. Now, here's what's happening. And this is for all those UFO people with these great stories. They're being programmed by aliens. Now, I don't know if you know much about what really went down when Truman said that they were allowed to abduct 10,000 people a year. All right. Never mind how many people they took. And there was no way to keep track of that. So that's one thing. But he said they can't remember what happened. And that's why most of the UFO people have missing time, don't even know that they were abducted. The second part of that is these people coming out with great stories are programmed with a story to remember. And that just makes them look more like an idiot in the outside world, but in the UFO world, wow, he was taken to all the planets, all the universes. He was, what did they eat? What did they feed you? I mean, what were you wearing? What were they wearing? I said, but see, here's the thing. When you get taken, Tina can go through what they do to your body and stuff. She's talking about the Greys, all right? But there's 5 different Grey races. I mean, they kind of work together. There's one leader of them as well. And they deal with the same beings. They deal with the reptilians. They deal with the Nordics, and they deal with the mantis. They're in this realm. They're the ones that have been playing with us. I mean, the Sumerian, Arcturians, and all these other names, they're not doing anything for us. All right. I'm not saying they're not there, but they're not helping us. No alien race ever helped mankind move forward in a good way. Oh, well, the Anunnaki made us. No, they did not. If you believe that story, I'm sorry. I feel bad for you. You'll reincarnate, come back, and maybe you'll be a little more aware next time. They didn't create us. I'm not going to go into the whole creation of planet Earth, how many races were here and all that right now. But there were 9 races here. 5 left. 4 stayed. And the Anunnaki came down and they tried reprogramming us to be a zombie, to be a killer, to do all the horrible things that we do now. But in Atlantis, we were the most spiritual race in the universe at that time. And you think these other races were not afraid of that? The same as they killed Jesus. They killed a lot of the most spiritual people that ever walked this planet. People that work with Lucifer, I don't want to use that word, sorry, not Lucifer, Satan, all right? They don't want to know good stuff. They want to believe good stuff, bad stuff's good. So when people get abducted, they give them this beautiful story and they believe it. How come not one person has any kind of proof? Tina, right now, I had people with a lot of proof years ago. I don't know what happened to them. But Tina has more proof of what's going on in her world than anybody else in the UFO world. I mean, people, witnesses, her boyfriend, and things like that. The hospital, they won't admit half of the truth, but she has it. These other people, well, I was in my room, and I'm back in my room again. Yeah, well, you had a bad dream, but you think it was good. So it's a scenario that's happening, and we got people coming out doing movies of these great stories. Is it going to help us? The government's going to come out and release files in 2 months. What do you think they're going to tell us? They allowed aliens to abduct us? They're allowed to take us? Are they going to tell the world that? Are they going to tell the world we really can't fight with them right now? We're learning to. We're getting better abilities. But the Pleiadians said if we shoot one of their ships down, they will start a war with the United States. Personal information, I could tell you that 100% real. The person that I got that from is dead now. He did a show with Jesse Ventura and was killed the day after he left that show. So, I mean, I follow people that I was really close to in the UFO world. 90% of them are dead. 5% are missing. The other 5 were either put in jail or the nut house. And that's how it went down. So Tina's one of the few people. I mean, she's telling the truth. But she's putting information out there that's not making people happy. And the government doesn't care. If she said she was working with them and they were going to give her something that was going to change reality, they would take her away tomorrow. But since she's a victim and a really bad victim of what they're doing to her, they don't care. I mean, these people with these great stories. If somebody said they went to Mars, Venus, and Jupiter and they were given all these crystals, you don't think the government would pick them up tomorrow if it was real and they came back with crystals? They come back with nothing. Not even a pen, a pencil, a button, a shoelace, nothing. So to say you went to a planet, you didn't get a picture, and the only thing you have is your incredible awareness of the situation. I mean, my brother used to be able to go to sleep. My mother would play a tape. He would memorize everything that they played to him on that tape. What do you think they could do to your brain now? You know anything about that kind of programming, which is definitely all over the place right now? I'm going to let go of that part of it. But people, there's about 4 UFO conferences coming up in the next 2 months. You can spend all your money to go to them. See, now it's not, there's one on TV, on the internet, but they're going to be real now. You can actually go there again. Spend $1,000 to get there, to go to it. Maybe a couple $100 for food, a couple $100 for hotel and all that. And go home with happiness. Oh, the aliens are coming to help us. Really? Is that what you believe? Is that what you want? How about what's really happening? And that's why I really wanted to put that out there today. Are you ready? Are you ready for the truth, or do you want to hear more stories? The aliens could be walking the street, and these UFO people, oh, they're our good friends. They all know us. If aliens are walking here, what are they doing for us? Nothing. Again, nothing. Do you understand the word? They're not helping us. They let little children get stopped, raped, murdered, sold into slavery. Are they helping them? I mean, they should help the children before they help the ignorant people that are grown ups.
They could
First,
cure the SARS virus, couldn't they, for us?
they could eliminate the virus. Now, I'm going to bring this back one more time on our show. I was friends with one person from MJ12. All right. He promised to give us honey. He said the honey will cure any disease on this planet. And he's dead. So obviously we never got the honey. Whether it was real or not, the idea, but he promised to give it to us. So, and then I'll remind you, the X-Files, the movie, was all about bees and honey, and how they went into the beehive colony where they were growing these bees and everything. So X-Files has a lot of truth in it. Everything they put on that show was partially real. I mean, they had to make it into a story. Even they got a setup that blew up. That's a real thing. People do blow up naturally. I mean, there's everything about that show. The second one was about the creature from Jersey where I lived. And I went down by oh man, it's getting by the casino in Jersey. And I talked to the homeless people. And there's a Bigfoot down there. And it used to go into the dumpsters to get food and everything. So, I mean, the story that X-Files put out about the first Bigfoot show, and at the end of that, they showed a little baby Bigfoot being born in the woods or something. But they make it into a story. I mean, there's facts there. If you rewatch all those shows, every one of them was taken from an actual documented story in the police department. That should give you some awareness of like, oh, that's all stupid. That's all fake. No, I mean, the story got a little molded when they were trying to do the X-Files and put the aliens in it and have them work. I mean, that wasn't that close to being real. But the idea of the principles, the ideas of what they want, what they do, was a lot more openly given out there. And I'm just telling you, you watch these movies, I mean, they're getting parts of truth. Now, Steven Spielberg took all the UFO information he had or could get to create that 6-part series. He put everything he ever heard about UFOs and stuff into that to make it as real as he could. But here's the thing. People in the UFO world, fools that have no experience, never saw a UFO, never next to an alien, and they're the greatest speakers on the UFO world? Bud Hopkins was the #1 person until he died of abductees. He never saw a UFO. He never saw an alien. He talked to people through hypnosis. And I'm not going to get into that. I already did. Hypnosis.
John Mack did the same thing, didn't he? He's a Professor John Mack.
So, again, truth is very important right now, especially for non-believers. I mean, I would have been a non-believer, but this started when I was 6 years old. I had to believe it. I didn't want to. I was forced into it. You're standing there and the ship's right next to you. You're going to believe it. I mean, you're a kid. You're not on drugs. You're not programmed yet.
John was right. I posted that thing about the UFO the other night, and the first comment from one of these groups, this person, I bet you're over the moon about the possibility of contact, aren't you? I'm like, if you knew my history, mate, you wouldn't see saying crap like that. These people are too quick to judge. They've never seen nothing, they've never experienced nothing, and yet they have the gall and the nerve, despitefulness and narcissism, to say stuff like that to me.
And people, I'm not making this up. I saw over a couple thousand ships in my life already. Many of them I was close to. All right, one of them was going to abduct my brother. All those kind of things. It's real. But what I wanted to say, I was at a party at my friend's house. And it was a pool party. There was about 25 people there. And I was watching this ship come down. All right, in the middle of the afternoon, it was coming down, and then it stopped. And I called everybody in the party, hey, check it out, a UFO. Everybody was staring at it for 5 minutes. And suddenly it started moving slowly away. No, this was years ago. Nobody had a camera.
Yeah, years ago you didn't. It was the old-fashioned click cameras, wasn't it?
My friend said, I'll drive home and get a camera.
Yeah, go home.
But yeah, we were at his family's house, his mother's house, but nobody else had a camera. So within 5 minutes, they were all back in the pool swimming around. I'm watching this ship, and then it shot out real fast, right back up into the sky. So, I mean, I'm aware of it, and I had people watching it, so I wasn't dreaming, I wasn't fantasizing. But when you have a witness with you, it helps you realize what you experienced real. I mean, it's usually not that you're not that lucky, because that makes it more solid, and they don't want that to be solid in your consciousness, because more people get abducted singularly than, well, let's take the whole bus and bring them up and bring all those people. So Tina was taken alone, but then again, later on, she was taken with her boyfriend. So there's information she has that nobody else has, and will even come out because they're already programmed with their great story. So you want to go to a UFO conference? I'm thinking about, I don't want to fly. I don't want to get on planes. I don't want to be doing all that stuff. Thinking of doing a real conference online again with a few people. Travis Walton has a good movie out based on what he believed in. He's real, but where he's at now, saying he's a healer and he goes around with this big hand that's a healing hand. I mean, people take their experience being abducted and suddenly they're spiritual. Nobody on this planet that I know knows what the word truly means. It's simple. It's a simple definition. But most people think it means, well, I'm a good person. I send love to the world. That's spiritual? In their mind, it is. Spiritual means being aware of what and who you are as a soul, where you go when you die, where you go when you come back, and all the things that happened in between that. All right? So, and then why? Then the aspect of God, a real God, not deities, not aliens, a real God. But you have to start at the bottom. You have to know what an angel is. How many people really know what an angel is? Oh, well, and then like when death experiences, all those things help you understand yourself. Yeah. Without any of them, you have no clue what we're talking about. Oh, I heard there's UFOs. There must be UFOs out there somewhere. Well, the same thing they're saying. There must be some other idiot planet somewhere else with people on it called humans. I mean, that's probably in their fantasy world too. But I'll give it back to you,
from there. Get your Geiger counter out, mate. Have you got it? Go get your Geiger counter and I'll talk the people through it. Right, so each week, it's been a few weeks now, me and Tommy have purchased a Geiger counter each. So I'll turn it around so you can see the back. There's the back of it, guys. Me and Tommy purchased these on Amazon, online. There it is there. So we're going to press the red button and turn it on. So the top here, what you see here, the Tommy's turned his on. That is volts per meter. That measures electrical magnetic field. The bottom one here, this reading is micro Teslas, and that manages radiation. So Tommy's top button, volts per meter, is going off because he doesn't have a smart TV. And what it is it picks up electrical magnetic signals. So mine is a smart TV. It's a new one. So it's getting nothing, no radiation and no electrical magnetical signals. So Tommy, put your Geiger counter to your head and on your body.
I get nothing.
Nothing. So this is mine. There it is, a normal one. And I'm going to put mine. Normally it reads something. Sometimes it reads nothing. I've not been well. So we're going to give this one a go. Tommy, anything?
Nothing for me.
Right. We'll give mine a go. No. Oh, so the bottom one there.
See the bottom number of people? That's actual radiation. It's an impossible thing. I mean, you're seeing it, but it's impossible. I talked to a famous person who thinks he's super smart, and he says, well, it's possible, but I don't think it's possible. So my brother's a scientist. I asked him, he said, it's impossible. She has to be moving on something. I said, she's sitting in a chair right in front of the computer. She's not going anywhere. See that number on the bottom? That's radiation. All right. That's a dangerous thing to have in your body. And she has it going on and off in her body.
So that's micro Teslas, everybody. It's 0.3329.
I'm thinking right now. There you go. See, now she's in danger zone.
That's a dangerous dose, everybody. That's a dangerous level. It's So I'm admitting that, not that I'm receiving it. I'm giving that off.
She's radioactive right now. See it, believe it. It's not a toy machine. It's not set up to blink. It's not a make believe thing. I asked her to get it. I said, "You must be radioactive." She has all the symptoms of radiation poisoning, and that's why I asked her to do that, and she did, and she is radioactive. So the only thing
There's
I can
nothing
say,
this side.
but here's what I'll say, people. I think the race that's playing with her is protecting her right now. Because if she's exposed to radiation and at the high levels how she was being attacked by her body, I mean, she might not be alive too long. Silkwood was a movie. I think you should watch it about radiation. You'll understand a little more about radiation, what happens to the body. She had all the symptoms. So she's okay right now. I mean, she's been sick, getting sick, out of sick, getting sick, but she's still alive. And I feel that they're going to try to keep her alive no matter what. That's just a viewpoint. I'm not saying that's a solid fact or anything. I'm just hoping it's true too, because radiation is not something you want coming out of your body, and it's not a safe thing for other people, for other things. What happened to your dog? You said something about your dog being exposed.
My dog is sick. He's not very well, and both of my dogs have lumps and tumours that have been aspirated, and blood taken, and one's affected one of his counts and platelets. And when the vet looked up, he said he's been exposed to some kind of radiation because it actually damages the cells in the blood in the animal. So there's nothing they can do about that.
People, we do this show for one reason, to help bring truth out. I'm not making money on this. Tina's not making money on the show. I want her to promote a book. I got books out there. I'm trying to promote them. I will do a show on my other book in the next week as well, one of them. But
I'm currently writing my account, but where I've been so ill, literally this first day, really, I've been dressed, and I'm sorry, I look a mess again. I have been so ill, but I haven't even had a chance to write or do anything. I've literally been sat in the garden and in the house, but so it will come out hopefully this year or next year. But this is a book I've already written, nothing to do with that, but it's called The Guardians of Light and the Brotherhood of the Night. There it is. Then there's the IBSN number. You can buy it on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon Kindle, and you can buy it there. It's all you can get it on download and things like that. My other book is called The Checkpoints. There it is there. That's me, T.A. Bird. There's a picture of me on the back, looking a lot better. There's the IBSN number at the back. It's called The Checkpoint, and that is a short story, and it's a bit raunchy. So if you like things like that, you can buy this. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Kindle. You can buy it on books on Amazon, and it's also free if you have Amazon Kindle. Oh, one of the packages on Amazon, you know, the ones you get free Kindle things, it's on there as well. So you can get it free on the download as well if you have one of the Kindle packages. Tommy, over to you.
Well, I appreciate it, Tina. I wish you luck with your books, and I'm glad that you have them. She's going to be releasing a UFO book next year, or maybe by the end of this year, hopefully. She needs to do it. It might bring her some money. It might do a lot of things, help her, because she has a good story. Real, I trust her 100%, and she has more facts than most people out there. And if you knew all the facts, you wouldn't call her a Looney Tune or crazy or stupid or whatever you want. She's as real as it gets, and that's why she's on my show. I had a show. I did it with Michael Horn. I called him a liar, and he ran away. I did a show with Laura Eisenhower. She agreed with everything I said because she was afraid to go against anything I said. People are afraid of me because I only deal with truth. I don't believe in fairy tales. I don't want to. Why we program children to believe them is to help screw them up when they get older so they can program them with whatever they want, I think. There's a reason. There's always a reason behind what they do or what people do, even if it's just to have fun, which is usually the sad reason why people do things, or to get a laugh out of something. People getting hurt makes people laugh. I mean, I don't know where we go with our consciousness and our thinking in general. I mean, what you do in your private little space is okay. Everybody has to have some kind of way to break down everything that's going on. But when it comes to people and friends and family, you can't abuse them. You can't hurt them. You can't attack them. You don't need a gun. You don't need to walk around with a gun. You shouldn't be walking around with a gun. If you have something for protection, you're a lady walking through a parking lot at nighttime, you need a taser or a spray. It's not going to kill a person, but it will protect you. We could protect ourselves, but we don't have to kill the people we're trying to protect ourselves from. But on the other hand, if a gray abducts you, you're not going to pull out a taser or a gun to shoot him because it's not going to help you. I do have ex-friend who said he chopped 18 aliens in half and with a sword. You want to believe that? That's your choice. So you got to be pretty fast with that sword, though. His whole house was knocked off its foundation. The stories are great out there. Proof is hard to come by, and actual stories are even harder to come by.
On that note, what Tommy says, guys, if you can answer any questions on a previous show, please contact Tommy, contact me, come onto the show, let us know. If you would like us to answer a question for you or find out something, we do our best to do that. Or if you'd like to come on the show as a guest or ask me or Tommy any question, please do so. You can email Tommy, Skype him, Facebook. You can connect with me on Facebook or Messenger. Tommy will put his address up in a minute. And watch all this on YouTube, guys. Please watch on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, whatever you wish to do. And that's the way to contact me and Tommy. Again, I do apologise for the last 2 weeks. Poor Tommy's not been able to. There's Tommy's email there across the bottom, guys, just before I go. If you take a quick look at that. And again, I apologise for not being here for 2 weeks due to my illness and that. But I'm glad to be back. I will be back next week. And I look forward to seeing you. Tommy, anything else?
No, I'm just so glad you came on. I'm glad you're feeling a little better. Stay better. Try to get better.
I'm a lot better now, yeah.
Until next week, anything I see you online, text me anytime. A lot's going on. Anything really important. We'll do a show anytime you need to if you have to. Remember that. Anybody out there wants to come on, we're willing to bring you on. If you have something important to say, something real to say, and it involves what we're talking about, fine, anytime. I could do a show every day.
Me and Tommy will give you a grilling if that's what you like. But
Whatever
from me here, that's
right,
me, guys, in the UK. Thank you for everyone in the States and Hawaii and here in the UK. And I'll see you on Tommy next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thanks, guys. Bye, Tommy. Been a pleasure.
All right, everybody. That's Tina Bird. Like I said, I trust her with 100% what she says, what she's bringing out. Now, before I go, there's a few things. I give my one book, How to See a UFO Field Manual. If you want to see a UFO and you really, really want to, please, I'll send you the book. Read it. I got a couple of spiritual things going on in it, but by the same token, it's not a religious book. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, if you want to see a UFO, why? If you want to see an alien, why? Is it going to do something for you? And what are those things? To think about those things. I mean, I don't want you to waste time to see a UFO. Okay, I saw a UFO. If you don't want to see a UFO, you don't need to see a UFO. But if you have never seen one and want to believe in it, believe in a real UFO, read the book. It'll help you understand and how to go out and see one. All right. I just built a deck. I spent a week building a little deck out my window so I could see the whole sky. When I go out on it, I'm equal to the roof. So I got this beautiful circle that I can see. Plus, I'm only about 6 minutes from the coastline by bicycle, and I'm planning on going down. I just got the bicycle. It took me 4 months to get this bike. Not the one I wanted, but I ended up buying a bike because the one I wanted, a 3-wheel bike, never came, never got it, kept reordering it. It was a nightmare. So now I could go down to the beach. I got all kinds of lights on it and everything else, protection, and you name it. But there's so many things going on here in Hawaii, daily, nightly. I don't even have time to film during the day, which I did, but I don't have all the programs to watch movies in super slow motion and things like that yet. I mean, I got to get caught up. I mean, I'm limited with money. I mean, it took me a while to get all the lumber together and build this deck, and it wasn't a lot of wood, but I'm building a solar heater for my hot water tub. I bought a hot water heater. It blew up. I mean, I'm dealing with a whole bunch of stuff the past couple of weeks. But people, the truth is out there. Tina and I are trying to give you as much as we can. But again, get ready for the name Sean David Morton. Anybody out there, call him a fool, a liar, a thief. They're all full of it. They don't know the truth. Sean was never a millionaire. He never made millions of dollars. The government brought 150 charges against him because he discovered Area 51 and brought people there. Because he told the truth what the government's doing with the space program. Most people are dead, and luckily he's barely alive right now. John Ford is in the nut house in Long Island because he filmed a ship crash. All right, and it was the best video ever, and I saw it before he sent it around the world to be held in case he dies. The truth is there, but these people telling stories, making money, just want to tell you that the government's been working with aliens. So what? Is it going to help you? Knowing that they did, knowing that they lied to you. Do you want to know that they can't beat up aliens? Is that going to make you feel good? They can come down here and take people whenever they want. They can't stop it. Then we'll say, what good is our protection? Tina said, why should she pay protection when they can't protect her? People out there, all right, saying all these good experiences happen, have nothing to give us. The technology that we have was given to us from Tesla. Tesla worked with an alien. Sadly to say, all the things he gave us are going to help destroy the planet. Quantum physics. Do you know what it is? All right, being able to do things like that. Time travel. They're destroying everything. It could destroy the whole lower universes and galaxies, all of it together. By being evil, ignorant, and stupid, or super rich, thinking you're God, whatever. Playing with the game, going back in time, changing history, creating a new history. And don't you think aliens could do the same thing? Are you that brain dead? You think aliens, if they say, well, if they were really there, they could destroy us. They don't need to destroy us. We're a stupid little dot in space. But if they want a good meal, guess where they go? Not to Burger King, not to McDonald's, to planet Earth. They could get what they need here to eat, survive. Not gold. The story of gold is another ridiculous story. Oh, they need gold to put around their planet to make their planet live? Really? They got the technology to go to the future. They could have got a machine that made gold, bring it back and make it then. Thousands of years ago. Hundreds of thousands of years ago. So when we say these stupid things, people believe it because they have no clue how to link truth together. We can make gold right now. It costs more money to make it than what it's worth after we make it. But imagine what alien technology could do. What they gave to Tesla was just a little smidgen of stuff. 200 inventions. 50 of them are self-destructive to the planet. They sound good, free energy and all those words, but they're dangerous. All right? Quantum physics and time travel, you screw up history, everything starts changing. And then you go to try to fix it, you screw it up more. There was a couple movies about that already. Watch them. They had to go back in time because he dropped a space thing, a weapon of the future in the past. What something like that does, it's called out-of-place artifact. Sergeant Latine had one. He won $1 million for it or whatever. But it was a knife in the stone. The stone was like 500 years old, and the knife was only 125 years old. So out-of-place artifact means it was put there somehow, not naturally. Not by mistake. All right? So there's these things going on. Can an alien race put a city under the ocean? I'm sure they can. Can they destroy a city? They did. Are they here now in a good way? No. Do you think pyramids are going to help us in any way? People are so concerned about pyramids. The Egyptians were stupid. They were not spiritual. They followed aliens, listened to them, and they believed them. Their whole theory on reincarnation, aliens don't know. That's stupid. And what they programmed the Egyptians about reincarnation is even worse. Anything to do with the body has nothing to do with reincarnation. All right? And the Egyptians, what they did to bodies to reincarnate and then to come back, all those things are all stupid. There was a movie called Premature Burial. And he was preparing, if he came back from the dead, he wanted food in there, and because he's locked in the chamber, how to get out of his coffin and all those kind of things. But the truth is, it doesn't pertain to the next realm, meaning where soul goes when it dies. So Egyptian technology has nothing to do with spiritualism. Nothing. Oh, we're all high-tech idiots. Everything we make destroys the planet or wherever we go. Nothing we make really helps the planet become a better place to be. The future of the world is robots and computers, not people. Do people realize we're all going to lose our jobs? We're going to lose reality. How many people are they going to need to fix robots once they program robots to fix robots? Wake up, people. You want to listen to UFO people speaking about, well, the good aliens are going to come help us. Help us what? Help us die? Help us live? Live longer. Now, I don't want to go into a spiritual rant here, but living longer is ridiculous. Right now, you can't live past 125. Even if you do live to that age, you're going to see your grandchildren and children die. Is that what you want to do? You're decrepit and you barely move around, and then you're going to see your children die? Is that what you want? Good luck with that. Why do you want to live longer? Well, here's another thing I just mentioned on another site. Sickness. Well, I want to heal this. I want to heal that. I don't want to get sick. I want to be healthy. Do you know, in this world, the most important word for the average person to understand is called karma. K-A-R-M-A. Karma. What it means, what you create, you're responsible to pay it back. Period. In this lifetime or many more after. Killing is not going to be paid off in a lifetime. Even the Bible tells you that if you want to read the Bible in Revelations, but people don't read that either. No Christians understand that either. They don't know what John said about karma and what it means, and what you can do and what you can't do. Go to Jesus and say, forgive me, I killed 20 people. I didn't like them. Go to Jesus and say, I chopped all these chickens up, and then they fed them to bears, and then I killed the bears to feed them to other people. I mean, you could go on about killing and murder and all those kind of things. But there's karma involved with killing. The Ten Commandments weren't spiritual laws. They were physical laws to live in the physical reality. It also didn't mention love because love didn't exist either. People, do you want truth? Do you want to live in these freaked, screwed up lies? Go to a UFO conference. Go to a UFO conference. See what you're going to learn. Well, the government's been doing this. The government's been doing that. The government's been doing what? The Republicans and Democrats can't get along. Never mind what the secret government is doing. Do you hear anybody talking about the underground cities? No, they can't get into them. So they don't know. Jesse Ventura brought people down in there and showed it. And he was like, his show was taken off the air, his third year. He was proving things that people doubt or don't. He wanted to prove it to himself. These underground cities are not for you and me. Who are they for? Who's paying for it? Why? You should think about what's going on physically before you think about saying I'm spiritual or aliens are spiritual. They're going to help us. Are you really that brain dead, completely programmed, zombified? Do you care what's going to happen to the world? Do you have children? Do you realize what you're leaving your children? What they're going to become? What's going to be reality? Murder, rape, child slavery, child sales, child body parts, all those words. Do you understand it? I could go into the problems that children are going to have in the next 5 years. Diseases that only elderly people used to get are going to be affecting children. Crib debts and all that. All those kind of words. Do you know what they mean, where they came from, and what's going to happen? Do you know what Parkinson's and dementia, Alzheimer's, what they mean? Imagine a child getting it. You know, the drugs and medical toxins that they're putting in food are creating that. Coca-Cola was probably one of the healthiest drinks you could have. Plus, it could make you happy if you wanted to take it. When years ago, they removed the Coke from it, which it really had, and added poisons to it to make it toxic. Any synthetic sugar is toxic to the body. But do you want this? Who invented that? Why was it invented? Why are these things invented? Where's all these great things any alien race has ever given us? Time travel? Listen to people like Laura Eisenhower. Oh, she went to Mars with the president and blah, blah, blah. She doesn't know anything about her great-grandfather. Truman. No, sorry. Eisenhower. Her grandfather. And what he was doing. He had to follow what Truman did. All right? Basically, Truman set up the whole UFO program. Not Trump. Not Mr. Rumphead. No. It was created a long time ago. Then again, do you want to know how much money they spend? No. You won't believe it. Oh, they can't spend that money. Oh, no. Why would you think the government would take drug money or make drugs to get drug money? You don't hear that, but that's part of the program. No drugs should get into this country, period. They have machines that could detect any kind of drug, and they should be at every single airport, and they're not. How many airports have it? Maybe 2 in the United States? I know I was working in a school, and they brought a dog in once a month, and he would sniff out drugs in a locker. I mean, that's just a dog. The technology we have is way beyond that. Guns going into school. They're too cheap to put a gun machine, a metal machine or a weapon machine to detect children going in schools with weapons of any kind. All these things. Do you think you have a reason why we're not doing it? Why the government's not doing it? Why they send children into war and not older people? Children don't know much. At least I said the age for people going into the Army, Marines, or Navy should be 24 to 38. Just my numbers. 17, you don't know nothing. And then if you do drugs or get put on drugs, you know less. All right? 24, you're a little more balanced, understanding, and have a lot more going on. And you're a lot more aware and stronger than ever, and all those words together. You're at your peak. That's what you need in a war zone, not somebody trying to buy marijuana and get high. And I had a friend was in Vietnam. They sent him out with a tank. Guess what? He walked back because he sold the tank and came back with a load of marijuana. He got thrown out of the Army, but I'm just saying, I mean, they were doing hallucinating drugs. LSD was brought into it as well. So, where do you want to focus? You want to focus on what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong? We're not doing anything right, people. Nothing. Relationships are deteriorating. Why? Nobody respects love or the level of love that we deal with on planet Earth. And men don't respect women, never will, until the day they decide to look for a spiritual path and get on it. Not say they're on it, get on that spiritual path. All right, abusive women. I just did this thing with these other people, and they were talking about that. Men together like to talk about abuse to women or create abuse to women. Women are still sex objects, whether they feel they are or think they are or not. Sure, women want men more as a sex object, but they're still not. In all the movies put out there, how many men expose their bodies on and stuff? Not many, but just about every other show, a woman has to. All right? You better look at the scenario, what's being created, what's out there, how certain things can happen to women, it can't happen to men, and men are, the black and white issue is not an issue. But we're making it an issue. Why? All right, I'm putting this out there, and I want everybody that's listening to this, please forward this to everybody you know. I'm open for a debate to anybody on this planet, anybody, spiritual, religious, or whatever they claim to be, a UFO genius, whatever, a top expeditionist. That's probably what they are. Or how about scientists and all those other words? Look at the real world. But again, I'm open to debate anybody, on live or not. Because the truth needs to be brought out. there might not be much time for the real truth to come out before everything's completely changed, and it's not going to be needed anyway. People need the truth. Robots don't. So I went on a little bit. Again, there's my email right there. Truth is the only thing that matters. And what the highest part of truth is a 3-letter word. And most people don't want to hear it. G-O-D. I get dyslexia. I usually go D-O-G. God is the most important thing in all the reality of every aspect of everything, while science is trying to destroy that every second, every way they possibly can. The Big Bang is not provable. All right? And if you believe that, you're still stuck in a rut. More people pulled into the world. The flat earth, another retarded, wrong word, ridiculous word to accept and believe in. Where are you going, people? What is the future? Oh, I missed the word that I was trying to get to. Karma. You're here because of karma. What you created, what you have to pay back. All right? Are you ready to pay back? Why I mention that? There's very few ways to pay back karma. One way to pay karma is sickness. And that is why it's here. Well, I don't deserve to be sick. I don't deserve this. You can pretend you don't deserve anything, but you're still here in hell, and you didn't leave it. You're not in the higher realms of God. So guess what? You have karma, and you're here until you pay it off. Aliens are worse because they don't have emotions and things, and they're still trying to become aware of that. So they're going to reincarnate into humans before they start reincarnating out of the lower realm into a spiritual world. That's a whole separate issue, people. But till next time, I might do another show or two this week. Hawksblood 1 on YouTube. Link up with me and you'll see the shows I do. It'll show you the shows. All my shows are recorded. So if you can't watch it live, you can always watch it later. My email's there. I'm not hiding. I don't change my name. I'm not running. If I'm going to die, I die. I'm not trying to live forever. I don't care. I'm going to do what I can until I die. Simple. If I die tomorrow, I did as much as I could in that time frame. Not to make money, not to become famous, not to become all those words, not to get the biggest ego in the universe. Just to put a little truth out there for the people that are ready to listen and find it. All right, people, I'm saying goodbye. Tune into Joe Schmo and everybody else in the UFO world and listen to the stories for the day. They got great stories to tell you. All these great conferences coming up, all the great speakers. How to find your true self, how to find your higher self. Become your higher self. Later, people. Peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life. I hope you get it. But it might not be what you want. Or I should say, really need.